Okay, this is a continuation of lesson 6. In our previous tutorial, we added an image on our surface using the bleed method, and then we saw how we can actually manipulate the image to animate it. Okay, so in this tutorial, what we're going to look at, we're simply going to look at how we can create a bouncing effect. Okay, so first things first, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to click the subscribe button which is down there. And if you haven't watched lesson 6, this video about lesson 6, be sure to click the link up here, or I'll leave a link in the description. Okay, so how do we manage to create a bouncing effect? Okay, so initially I want to show you what happens when we just create an animating effect of the ball. The ball is just going to move off the screen. Okay, so I can run this and you guys can actually see the ball is just moving down and then it disappears off the screen. That's not what we want. What we want is when the ball reaches this edge here of this screen, it must bounce off this edge and then probably change direction to this side and then bounce off again and then change to this side and then bounce off again. Something of that sort. That's what we want to create. We want to create a bouncing effect whereby the ball is going to remain on the surface, okay, bouncing off the walls of the surface. So how do we do that? Okay, so I'm going to cancel this, and like I said in our previous video, I'm going to show you what happens. So we spoke about having a rect like this one, right? We said we'll create a rect, this line here. We create a rect whereby this corner here is the coordinate x and y. X is equals to 100 and y is equal to 100. Okay, over here. All right, so I want to talk about certain properties that you have to keep in mind. Certain attributes of this rectangle or square. Okay, we just call it the rect. Okay, so what happens is you guys can see we have this side which is the top of this rect, and then we have this side which is the bottom of this rect. Okay, so you have to keep in mind all of these attributes, right? And then here, this is going to be the right side of this, and this side is going to be the left side. Okay, and then we can also have top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Okay, so like I said, this is the left, this is the right, this is the left side, this is the bottom, and this is the top. We can also talk about mid right, mid top, mid bottom, mid left. Okay, all these are positions that you can find on this rect. So those are the attributes you need to keep in mind if you want to ensure that you create a bouncing effect. So let's see how we're going to use these in trying to create a bouncing effect. Now what should we do here? Okay, so we know that this is going to create the movement of this of the ball. So down here within this loop, that's where we're going to put the chord, right, to determine whether it's going to bounce off the edges of the surface of our surface. So how do we do that? Okay, without much further ado, let me get here into the code. Okay, so we have to create a condition. All right, so how do we create a condition? We use an if statement. If something happens, please do this. That's how we create conditionals, right? Even in our day-to-day life, we say if this happens, if it rains tomorrow, I'm going to carry an umbrella, or if it blah blah, I'm going to do this. So if, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to say if, what's the name of our rect? It's called basket rect, right? If basket rect dot, the first thing we want to look for is let me show you. The first thing we want to look for here, the rect is more like this. Please forgive my drawing, I'm using the mouse over here. So we're saying if this left side reaches the edge of our surface. This, let's assume this is our surface. Okay, this is our surface. So if this left side reaches this edge of our surface, we want, if it's positive, right? If the movement, the speed is positive, we want this to be negative. When you change the speed to be negative, then it goes this side. Initially it's going this side, but when it reaches this point, it's going to go this side. So how do you achieve that with code? Okay, let's see how we can achieve that with code. What we can actually do, dot left, right? Like I told you, the left side is less than 0. Is less than 0. Okay, because initially, you know, like when you're moving from left to right or right to left, it's the x-axis that you're increasing. So when you move to the left, you're actually decreasing the x value. When you move to the right, you're actually increasing the x value. So we're saying if ball rect dot left is less than 0, or a ball rect dot right is greater than the width. Okay, because the width is the maximum, right? Is the maximum of our surface. So if it's greater than, what do we want? Here we need to pass in what we need to do. Okay, we need this speed to turn into a negative speed, because right now the speed is 3, which is positive. So we need speed, and then we are going to use indexing, right? Indexing, as you guys, if you are new to Python, in lists, when we index, we point to a number by using indexes, especially if it's a list, right? So the first number is 0, is index 0, and the second number is index 1. So we want to say index for the x-axis. This is the x-axis. So for index, this is for index 0, is going to turn into a negative minus speed 0. So what we're simply saying here, we're saying turn this 3 into a negative 3. That's what this is what this statement is saying. Okay, it's just saying that, right? And then the same should happen for the top and the bottom, right? So if basket rect dot top is less than 0, okay, I want to show you basket rect. Let me draw this. In Pygame, the way it works, like I told you guys, this is the top left corner, right? This is 0, 0 here. It's 0x and 0y. So the moment you go to the right, you are increasing x, right? And then y, the moment you go down, you are actually increasing y. Okay, you are increasing y by going down. So this part here becomes 0y. This is y has got a value of 0 for y here, this part, right? So that's how it works. So this is what we're saying. We're saying if basket rect top is less than 0, if it goes beyond 0, of which it won't go beyond 0, like if it's less than 0, because it's gonna hit 0 and then anything beyond is gonna turn. So or here, or basket rect dot bottom, this is the bottom part, is greater than the height, right? The width and the height. So here what should we do? So we're saying speed 1, this is index 1, this second value is index 1 for y, this is the value for y, is index 1. We want it to be a negative speed 1, right? We want it to be a negative 3, right? If I save this and then if I run this, let me close this part. If I run this, Control B, what's happening? So something is stuck up here. I'm not too sure what's going on. Here I'm in my Control Save, Control B. Okay, it's gonna run, doom, you'll see now it's bouncing off each time it goes. So I can actually change the speed. If I change the speed, it's actually going to bounce at a different elevation. If I change the speed for X and for Y, I can actually change the elevation at which this ball is bouncing off. Okay, let's try it out. Let's say we change the X to 1, and then the Y is going to remain as 3. You will see it will bounce at a sort of like because it's moving faster in terms of the Y direction, but in terms of X is moving slower, so it bounces off higher and then marginally moving to the left and the right. So that's how you can change the bounce. Like this is how you can change the bounce. It's actually bouncing down, boom. Okay, so you can also you can play around. If you want it to move up and down without moving to the sideways, you can just put this 0 as X to 0, and then you can actually run this. You see the ball going down, up and down, just like that. It's not going to move to the left or to the right. It's going to bounce on the same place, because it's not the X speed has been set to 0, so it's not going to move. So that's how you do. If you want to move, if you want it to bounce from sideways, side to side, you can just put this to, let's put it to 5. You can increase this speed and check out what happens. This is going to bounce a bit faster than it's going to bounce from this side to that side, from this side to that side. So this is how you actually you would use this kind of logic to make a game, to design a game like tennis, right? Or ping pong, whereby somebody is going to hit the ball and then the ball is going to go back to the opponent, and then the opponent hits it back and stuff like that. So this is the kind of logic that you can actually use. But here I'm just, making you understand the basic concept of how you can make something, bounce off the walls of something. So you can make this kind of faster. I can make this faster by putting, let's say, 20 here. Control save, Control B, and then it's gonna bounce faster, as you guys can see. It's bouncing faster, ba 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 ba, because I put in a much higher speed, but it's just bouncing off the same at the same elevation from X, because Y is 0 in this instance. Okay, so this is how you can play it around. You can play around with the speed, but make sure here you have 2 values. You can set the other one to 0, but you cannot just set the other one to none. Okay, so I hope you guys can understand this concept. I'll see you in our next video where we're going to develop more this into a game like, and then you guys can actually use the concept that we've been learning to actually come up with something that is tangible. All right, I want to thank you. Do not forget to subscribe. See you in our next video. I'm out.